With Governor Greg Abbott's sweeping property tax reform plan already having a majority of support in the Texas House, he's now turning his attention to the Senate.
Texas Scorecard presents the day's first news for the Lone Star State, the Texas Minute, with your host, Michael Quinn Sullivan.
Thanks for kicking off the month of July with this Wednesday edition of the Texas Minute. If you enjoy the Texas Minute, please share the show with your friends and family. You can also give it a rating on your podcast app, click the thumbs up on YouTube, and tap like on X. You're here for the news, so let's get to it. Governor Greg Abbott's property tax reform proposal already has secured the backing of a majority of the Texas House. Now the governor is building support in the Senate, with state senators Bob Hall and Brian Hughes publicly joining his statewide campaign to promote the plan. It was announced this week that 89 Republican incumbents and nominees running for the Texas House have signed on in support of the Abbott plan, building on what was already majority support among current House members. Abbott has said that Texas lawmakers have repeatedly increased the homestead exemption over the past decade from $15,000 when he first took office to $140,000 today, but he argues Texans are not seeing lasting relief. So the governor's plan would require two-thirds voter approval for local property tax increases, including bond elections. It would also limit local government spending, expand taxpayers' ability to force rollback elections, and lower appraisal caps. The capstone is a constitutional amendment that would abolish school district property taxes on homesteaded properties. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick has championed a narrower property tax package centered on expanding those exemptions rather than fundamentally restructuring the property tax system. President Donald Trump announced yesterday afternoon that the Republican Party will hold its first ever midterm national convention in September. What the president called a, quote, truly historic event will take place in Dallas on September 9th and 10th. While national conventions are typically held every 4 years during presidential election cycles in order to nominate candidates and adopt a party platform, the Republican National Committee amended its bylaws in January to allow for a midterm convention. This Dallas gathering will instead focus on speeches and messaging ahead of the November elections. Though Trump himself won't be on the ballot in 2026, Republicans have said they intend to use the convention to highlight the administration's record and make the midterm elections a referendum on Trump's presidency. Food banks across Texas will receive over 7 million free eggs after Attorney General Ken Paxton, alongside 16 other state attorneys general and the Department of Justice, secured a settlement with 3 egg companies that were accused of purposely manipulating consumer prices between 2022 and 2025. Details from the investigation revealed that the 3 companies had allegedly conspired to coordinate their bidding in a way that would influence daily egg price quotes published by the benchmark pricing service company Urner Barry. Urner Barry prices are used in egg supply contracts with retailers and the food service industry. Under the agreement, the companies will also pay out $3.3 million to the states involved in the lawsuits, stop their illegal conduct, and implement safeguards to prevent similar misconduct. That's excellent for Texans. Sorry. The Texas Minute will be right back.
What are the important things out there in Texas politics and Texas news that matter to you, and what can you do about it? That's what we want to bring you with the Luke Macias Show on a weekly basis for 20 to 30 minutes. That way you can get the information and go do something for the rest of your week. I look forward to coming to you every Wednesday.
In response to lawmakers' request for a pause on extra high-voltage transmission lines, transmission service providers admitted that reliance on wind and solar power, along with government subsidies, has negatively impacted energy reliability in the Permian Basin. This aligns with a third-party report that found the controversial lines are being built primarily to support wind and solar, and that local reliable generation alternatives were never fully examined. At issue is the 765 kilovolt strategic transmission expansion plan, which critics assert has been pursued with no legislative approval and minimal public input. Analysts at the Texas Public Policy Foundation have warned that the plan being pursued would not ensure reliable energy production and instead increase over-reliance on wind and solar. Dr. Brent Bennett of TPPF is among those joining lawmakers in calling on the Public Utility Commission and others to pause all work on the project until legislators can address the situation during the 2027 session. You can find the details on this story and keep up with all the news impacting the Lone Star State by visiting TexasScorecard.com. This edition of the Texas Minute was based on the original reporting of Brandon Walton, Eddie Hovland, and Robert Montoya. Our producer is Nick Shepard. I look forward to seeing you out around the Lone Star State. Now, go make it a great day.